Welcome. In this video, I'm going to test my mic and we're going to talk about the universal cat orbs, specifically ones that is best for new players. Now, the fastest way for new players to catch up with the cat orb currency is by doing the hard cat orb currency stage in the distant trial. But remember, only do it if you have the bonus weekly rewards. You can do it without, but it is best to allocate your stamina to farm for gears instead. Next to the cat orbs. The first best universal cat orb for new players is the Gavialis cat orb. If you have watched my bosses guide, all of my DPSs are using Gavialis orb. In short, Gavialis orb makes one-shotting bosses possible, though there are bosses that are immune to HP % damage, such as the raid bosses and Alliance exercise boss. You just need to have one maxed Gavialis orb. Moving on, starting here, you have two paths to take. Either focus on PvP or raid. If you want to focus on PvP, choices are two, Toka Orb or Lydia Orb. Toka Orb is the absolute defensive orb in PvP. It reduces their chance to crit hit you, and if they do crit hit you, their C damage will be reduced by a lot. Lydia Orb is more towards the balance side. It reduces the wearer's damage taken by a certain percent upon taking crit hit and increases their next damage by a certain percent. If you didn't get hit by a crit hit, then the effects won't activate. Now moving to the raid part, by the time I'm recording this video, there is only one best universal cat orb for raid, and that is the Sylvia orb. This cat orb has a stacking damage increase which is valuable in a long battle content like raid, especially if you are using DPS or sub DPS that is not a striker class. And the good part is, it has a chance to reduce the wearer's ultimate, or I believe an S3 cooldown, by one turn, upon using a skill other than basic attack. This is really valuable and can be clutch in raid, cause most units' good skill is in their ultimate. You can pretty much ignore the rest of the universal cat orbs, aside from the ones I have mentioned, cause the metas are Toka orb for PvP and personally Sylvia orb for raid. Now for the last part, whenever a new cat orb comes, they'll put it on display as the red up and they'll put some regulars in the rotation. If you are an F2P, never ever use your crystal to gacha for the orbs. But back to the red up and regular cat orb, some are usually worth buying. For example, the current Ursula orb is worth it if you are actively using Laurel in PvP. Aside from the damage setting effect, it will give your ally shield buff for one turn after your Laurel triggers her counterattack, assuming if the enemy skill isn't able to counterattack. And to simplify it for you, the ones you need to keep your eyes on the regular cat orb rotations are Ghost and Phantom orbs for DPS, Glycine and Levisia orb for healer, Laurel, Jessie, and Priscilla orb for tank. Honorable mentions are Maika orb, Asasia orb for 4-star. They are best for PvP, and Maika orb 1 is good for PvE. I want to mention about Grace orb for the 3-star, but this orb is only from the gacha. Aside from the damage sharing effect,